Welcome back to the WHHI-TV Daily News. With me now is Ansley Howze, and she is with the American Heart Association. And we've talked several times over the past about lots of different things. Today, it's kind of an interesting one because we're talking about something, a very specific sector that you're going to be focusing on with a campaign that's coming up, and that is Hard Hats with Heart. So tell us a little bit about that initiative.
Definitely. So Hard Hats with Heart is launching for the first time ever here in our Southern Coast area for the American Heart Association. And it really is a construction industry specific initiative from the AHA that's really focused on improving cardiovascular health of those who are working in the industry. We are hoping to really integrate health, well-being, prevention into the culture of the industry and bring those professionals together to learn about that, to collaborate, and then to really just celebrate overall how they can make an impact on the American Heart Association's work.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about that because as I was reading through the information before I was going to chat with you today, it was kind of fascinating to me that you might not think of it, but construction workers have a really high rate of cardiovascular disease. So why is that, and what can we do about it?
They do. We know that they have long hours, high stress, sometimes poor nutrition, a lot of times high tobacco use, and really just the lack of heart strengthening exercise sometimes in those industries. And so we know that it's really important that they are addressing those lifestyle factors. Lifestyle factors do affect 80% of cardiovascular disease. And so we know that that's important to address. Oftentimes when we're on the run, and especially that industry that's so busy, we're not picking the healthiest thing to eat for lunch or, making sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And so already 1 in 25 construction workers have been diagnosed with cardiovascular disease. And we know that's an area really where the American Heart Association can meet our community where they're at and try to prevent that and address just that education gap currently.
That's a pretty high number. 1 in 25 really is. And so you mentioned that obviously some of the lifestyle choices and things, but then you also mentioned heart healthy exercises. You think of a construction worker as being very active, but maybe it's not specific to being heart healthy. So what are some of those exercises that they could incorporate to kind of get back on track maybe?
Sure. So we know really any sort of exercise is helpful. It's a lot about movement. So a lot of times they are getting that movement. And it really is more about what they're eating, how they're getting rest, how they're managing stress, how they're managing that tobacco use. But really any sort of exercise and staying active is in support of that. So this will really look at educating them on sometimes we are sitting, and especially those manager level construction workers are doing a lot of sitting and a lot of managing the project. And so what does their individual day-to-day look like? How can we help give them tips that supports that? But overall, to your point, yes, getting any sort of activity is very, very helpful. And so we want to continue to encourage them to balance that with those other lifestyle choices too.
Yeah. And so this initiative is starting now, and I know it's kind of culminating in an event that's coming up in November. So talk to us a little bit about what's happening between now and that event, and then the event specifically.
Definitely. So the event specifically is happening Thursday, November 13th at 4:30 p.m. at Tubby's Tank House in Thunderbolt in Savannah. It's going to be this great, fun networking event that brings together supporters and allows us to further that education. So right now, we are really out there spreading the word about this event, getting on board new sponsors, new supporters for that. And engaging companies. So we would love if there are companies that are interested, individuals that are interested in participating, to reach out to us. They can check out heart.org/Southern Coast Hard Hat. That's heart.org/Southern Coast Hard Hat to check it out. Our sponsors and supporters of this event are helping us to fund more research. They're helping us to place CPR kits in our community so that more can learn that life-saving CPR. So it really makes a huge difference, and we're going to have a lot of fun at the event too.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. So if people, I know you already mentioned if they're interested in helping with this event specifically, where they can go to get more information. But if you maybe are a construction worker or somebody who just wants to be a little bit more heart healthy, go to the same place to get information about what they can do for their lifestyle?
Sure. So they can start at that website, but also heart.org has tons of resources that they can access all around what we call Life's Essential 8. So taking those 8 steps around just a healthy lifestyle in general, but tons more as well on heart.org that they can check out.
Excellent. Well, Ansley, thank you so much for being here today, and what a great initiative. So make sure you're checking it out on November 13th. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone on the show today for their insights and contributions. As always, our production team is behind the scenes to make all of this possible. And of course, we are honored that you have chosen to share part of your day with us. I'm Betsy McDaniel, and we'll see you for the next WHHI-TV Daily News.